All right, so if anybody's wondering, this is going to be a little screen capture, if you will, of me doing some design work in Fusion. So I'm going to give this a minute or two to settle out, see if anybody jumps on chat, and then I'm going to jump into, hey, we got Turkin. What's up there, buddy? It's just about ready to say, and if anybody pops in on chat, then Turkin's like, boop, in the chat. So what we're going to be working on, ignore the stuff in the Ultimaker. I was running this out. It's a test print of this rail car that I did on the Moai. It's just a different style. So what we're going to be doing in Fusion is I'm going to be making some modifications to this guy. And sorry if it's kind of hard to see because of the black, but this one's more of a combine rail car. So what we're going to be doing is on the inside here, I'm going to put like a fake wall partition. Probably going to shift the door over a little bit. Little things like that. Probably going to make the door a separate model. I just tried printing this all as one piece with the roof. Didn't exactly turn out as intended. Oops. And this model, you guys might or might not be able to tell, has the wood paneling look on it. I'm going to try duplicating that on the combine car. So let me switch over to screen share, the program that never works for me. Jump into a Fusion. Okay. And you guys let me know if you can see what's going on. I might not be able to check chat the whole time because, yeah, when I go to work on stuff, it drops out. But I'll try and keep it up when I can. So let's see if there's a way I can pin it. Can I pin it? No, I can't. Oh, that's a bummer. Turkin's trying to find something to print on his Photon DLP, and he's not having much luck. Yeah, that can be difficult, especially considering how expensive resins and stuff can be. To kind of be like, yeah, do I really want to print that? I don't know. That's always a hard one. So in my case, I'm actually waiting on more resin to come from Matter Hackers. So I really don't know where that's at, and I hope it comes soon because I'm kind of hurting without resin. So, okay, that's cupola. Hide that. I know I'm doing screen share. Where's the door? It's the fun part about coming back to a model is, oh, where's that last? There we go. Thing I was working on. And then the overall height. Just define that. But I'm now gonna overset distance. Oh, you don't want me to do that? That's why. Trying to remember where you have constraints sometimes in Fusion can be a pain. Set that inch. No, it's not what I wanted. Give me a second here. Fusion's being like, no, I really don't want you to move that. And I'm like, well, I kind of need to. Sometimes I just go back and redraw the item, but I don't feel like doing that, so I'm not. Model being stuck down on. There we go. Perfect. And also bear with me, guys. I'm not exactly feeling the best tonight, but I figured I'd just do a little stream kind of as a demo thing just for the heck of it. Chill with you guys. Half the screen. I have no clue if I can do that or not in here. Let me stop screen sharing. I don't think I can half the screen. Sadly, I'm using Hangout, so it is somewhat limited in what I can do, which is a bummer. But if I was running OBS, Open Broadcast Studio, I could, but I'm not. Yeah, OBS is nice, but last time I tried using it, it didn't work, and I also have to set up like a VPN, which I don't know how to do yet and stuff like that. So I've just decided, no, I'm not going to run OBS at this point. In the future, I might, but for now, Hangout seems to work really good. So that's what I'm running. So we've got the door there, so we can stop that. Perfect. We can pull that guy in. Actually, let me not be lazy and adjust the base model. Oh, where's it at? Ugh. Oh, that's over there. Never mind. Yeah, fine. I'll be lazy. I'll pull this in. Leave a little bit on the end. Not a bad idea. And then where that door would be, I'm actually going to cut it out on the model itself. There's the file. There it is. Perfect. Oops. Decimal places. Always forgetting them. I can delete that extrude there. And got the door there. So now I've got that sketch active. Perfect. I can then turn off the door. I don't need the door. And then I can actually cut through both sides of the model. And it creates an opening. The only problem is actually that's not going to work. It's going to be a little bigger than the door. Problem. So I'm going to actually extrude the door in 3125. I'm going to pull the bottom down. Delete that. Done. And boom. Probably should pull that back. Whenever you're designing live, you always are like, oh, great, are people going to think I'm some hack or something? So I tend to get a little more stressed out than I probably should be. And then I tend to make slightly stupid mistakes as well. So I promise, guys, I know what I'm doing. It's just not exactly by night. There's the door. Perfect. Then we can pull that in. Boom. Blast out both sides. Awesome. Shut that down. Go back. Ignore that right there. It's because I deleted something that was referencing it and it got kind of annoyed, but it's no big deal. Let me check up on chat. Hey! Good guys, sorry I keep clicking on and off. We've got brew it, print it, build it, blast it. That's a heck of a name. And we've got PJ in there. So yes, PJ, I'm actually working on a rail car. This is what would be classified as a combine rail car, as this half over here would haul passengers or freight crew, then over here would haul freight itself. So what I'm working on is I printed up the model itself in PLA because I'm still waiting on my resin to come in for my Moai. So I decided, you know what, I am going to print this on the Moai, but let me take the time now to check I like the file, check everything, all that good stuff. So right now what I'm doing is I'm working on, what the heck happened there? It's not good. Right now, pretty much what I'm working on is just making up the model of the rail car itself. And then from there, I'm going to add some details. So right now, if it makes sense, what I'm doing is, it's not working and I'm trying to think and talk. Fail. So pretty much what I'm trying to do right now is design the door up so it's a separate print, because I do kind of like the ability to have the train open if I want, or have it shut. So also making the door separate means I can print it in whatever color I want, or if I even want to put the door on the inside, I can do that. It kind of buys me some creativity, if you will. So originally when I designed it, I didn't have an opening, so I could open the train car side. Then I might add some wooden slats effect as well. So we'll see. So let me try and figure out what is going wrong here. So we have the design, we have that pulled out. Then we have that, which technically should be joined. I think it is. So there's that. Then just shut off that. Okay, I think I'm figuring it out now. Okay. Fusion was getting a little mixed up on what was supposed to get dealt with. That is no big deal. We now have that solved. What doesn't it like now? That. Okay, I think I can delete those two and get away with it. Okay. There we go. I think things got a little bit screwed up in the sketch area. Yeah, what I pretty much did is I drew the door shape, and the door itself has been mirrored to the other side. I just took the door opening and just blasted it, if you will. It's a terrible term to use. Blasted it through both sides and called it done. So that's what I ended up doing. And that seems to work. So I've just mirrored the door over to there. And then because the door is a separate print, I can obviously print that separate. And then I also decided that the end panels right here, it looked cool having the windows, but I didn't exactly like that. So I actually boarded the windows up. But if I wanted to, I could just keep them open. And you know what? I think I'll actually just keep them open, and I can board them up after the print. I think that's actually a better idea. Let me turn off the doors because I don't need those. So now what we're going to do is, as it prints right now, it would probably be okay. But just given the fact that resin shrinks and this top part is heavily braced, we're going to do the same on the bottom part. So yeah, so PJ and anybody else who's watching, what I did is I just took the empty door shape here, rooted it through both sides, just grabbed it and drug it. And it's a little, I mean, some people would probably argue it's a little bit hack. I don't care. It works for me because I need the door on both sides. So that's what I did. I mean, everybody has their own style, and I'm not going to sit here and go, your style's great and your style's terrible. Everybody does it a little bit differently. For me, that's the simplest. It's just to go boom, blast it through both sides, and call it done. So now let's work on the bottom. So that plane. Actually, while we're at it, I had also mentioned that I want to make a doorway in here. So let's go to an object. And we want that curvy piece of awesomeness. And, oh, I can't do the whole thing? Okay, I'll just do it as like multiples. So we want to bring back the other sketch. Actually, we probably should do it from the other side. Makes more sense. I'll do it from here. Okay. There. And we can select this whole thing. And we want to tell it to go to there. Perfect. Join. Boom. Now we have our dividing wall in the middle. So I'm just going to take this same basic door shape here and cut it into that. If you guys are wondering, oh yeah, let me just pull that down to there. This lip right here is what the rail car itself rides on. So adding this doorway here is going to help brace things up, but just for safety's sake, I'm going to put some lateral bracing and probably some end bracing that I can just snip out when the model's done. The bracing up on the roof here is also somewhat visual, so it's going to stay after the model is printed. TK, I've heard resin shrinks anywhere from about 3 to 5%. More or less, I'm just trying to combat the model itself getting all skewed and then me having to try and correct it in curing. Not my idea of a fun time, and especially on a print like this, which is easily a 10 or 12-hour job and a fair bit of resin as well. I definitely don't want to print the whole thing, pull it out, cure it, and then it goes all and gets all tweaked on me, and then it looks kind of like those stackable chips in a can. Like, I don't want that. So Brewitt saying he made his first thing in Fusion 360 2 weeks ago, a MakerCoin, and messed that up. Managed to make it hollow. Yeah, you're going to definitely make a few mistakes when you're starting out. If I said that when I started taking CAD classes years ago over at Moorpark College with the instructor who's since quit and moved to Florida, if he had told me that I was going to get it the first try, I'd be like, nope. I mean, if he had told me I'd be designing stuff like this now, I would have stared at you and said, no, that's not going to happen either. But it's something that I've been doing for years, literally off and on. So don't feel bad if at first you don't succeed. It takes a fair bit of time, but it's encouraging though to see that people are trying to learn how to do 3D design, because I mean, much as I like 3D printing, I kind of feel like people got a little bit spoiled with the vast quantity of free, readily available to download models out there, and never really stopped to think, oh, gee, yeah, I should stop and learn how to do 3D design so I can at least, modify something I like, or say there's something I can't design, I can at least try. But, I'm not knocking people who, just can't learn it for whatever reason or don't care. That's totally up to them. But I kind of feel like people should at least give it a try, especially considering that there's programs out there that are free, like Fusion or Tinkercad or things like that. Things that are also, I want to say, somewhat easy to use as well. I've seen people do amazing things in Tinkercad, and I'm like, I don't know how to use it, but if you can crank that out in there, then that is awesome, So I like to tell people, though, just go with what you're most comfortable with. So there we've got the first brace. I decided to make it a little bit bigger than the top one, but I'm just going to follow the same pattern as the other guys. So there, 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 there. Then just click on here. And yeah, this bracing is probably a little bit excessive, but I'd much rather lose a tiny bit of resin to slightly excessive bracing than lose a whole model because it got all Pringles chipped on me. As for these edges here, they're so small, I'm not worried about them shrinking. And as it is, they're going over a rail car chassis, so I can always slip it on there and do that. So that's where the model's at now. I'm thinking, though, I probably have the computing power to attempt to do the slats. Yeah, we'll see if I do the slats or not. I'm trying to think of some other stuff I can do. What I usually do when I design things is I'll design it, I'll get it where I like it, then I'll actually step away from the model for a day or two, a couple of hours, then I'll come back and go, yeah, it's a great idea, or no, I don't want to do that actually. So that's what I'm probably going to do with this guy. But I've also got some other design stuff I want to do. Some detail parts for this little locomotive right here. going to work on making up a fake cooling fan assembly for it. Brain is not on point today. We'll use front view so I can see what I'm doing. Like an intelligent person. Take that off. Whoops. Actually want that on. I'll turn off the body. So this is actually a locomotive that I designed up eons ago for the 30 Days of Design challenge that Sparky Face 5 had. And I've decided that I like it, but it needs some detail parts. Because I've printed it up and I'm going to be using it on a little railway that I posted a photo up of on my Twitter earlier, the Make It With Cal one. I've decided that this little loco needs some detail parts. So what we're going to do is create a fake radiator fan here, or attempt to. This one is just going to be a flat model, though. There's no point in attempting to do anything fancy, like curving the blades, but we'll see. I might decide 5 minutes in, yeah, let's angle the blades, and we'll see. But now, if I can remember what I'm doing, the whole idea is I'm just trying to create basic fake fan here. And let me just create a little hub. Hub. Actually, we can trim that guy because we can just add it in later again. Sketch, regular pattern, and that. And I'm going to go with 6-blade fan. I think that looks pretty realistic. If any of you auto guys are out there, please feel free to chime in and tell me what's more of a realistic size, but I'm going to say a 6-blade. Looks good to me, so 6-blade it is. So we got that. Then we can actually go back and add in that outer ring. And everything needs to be pulled out. So we can pull that guy out. 40 thou. Sketch back on. I keep going the wrong way. Okay, perfect. So now we've pretty much created the basic shape here. Check back on chat. Nothing. Okay, cool. So you know what? Let's try faking a devil here. I can turn, I'm just going to call this the fan body, fan blades. And I might fake a motor behind this by just adding in a circle, but that's going to be it. So we can turn that guy off. We can go see if I can create a tangent plane that's 90 degrees. No, doesn't want to play nice. Okay. It's a bummer. So, no, I think we can probably fake a blade shape with a chamfer. Or, oh, what? Yeah, I'll try faking it with a chamfer. Chamfer this edge, like, we'll just say 40 thou. Yeah, we'll go 30. And we'll go modify chamfer 30. There we go. That looks to me like a fake blade shape. So, oops, side. You have an idea. Can I? Some more Fusion 360 hackiness here. Nah, it's not gonna work. Okay. You know what? I can just round those ends off. There we go. That will look exactly like a fake blade. Nobody's the wiser. Just don't tell them to watch my stream. They won't learn my secrets to hacking it. Yeah, I think I need to delete that. Something do anything. Gotta make sure I'm doing the chamfers all the right way as well. It's gonna be the world's most ineffective fan blade ever. 3. Yeah, it's going the right way. Note to self, don't do live design streams when you're a little bit fuzzy brained. Might not always work out the best. Okay, that is more like it. Anybody watching? Yeah, people are watching. Okay, if you guys have any questions, fire them away in the chat. I do try and check it somewhat regularly. I can't keep both active at once, sadly. I wish I could, but because I'm not running OBS, I can't. So sorry about that. We'll pull those two down to there. Join them. Yeah. Well, that looks a lot like a fan. And pointy ends don't really bother me, but I am thinking for strength on the print though, I might try throwing in a small bevel down there. Bevel. Should I fill it? And then perfect. Oh. Yeah, there we go. 7.5. That way also the print itself is stronger by having those little fillets in there. So now we can turn back on the fan body, which this will be joined to. So now we can fake the motor on the back. Know a thing or two about these from a science fair project as a kid. Yeah, we'll call that good. Then draw up this guy. We'll go 40. 40. Then Maybe I should make the motor thicker. I'll make the motor thicker. There we go. So now you guys can get an idea of what designing is like with me. And quite honestly, it's very much a hit and miss, trial and error style thing. Oh, Matthew, if you're wondering what's going on, what I was working on before, sorry about not checking the chat. It's very much an in and out thing for me because I can't keep it up and I can't run it on my phone. But earlier I was working on this rail car here, and what we ended up working on was adding in this partition here, which was not there originally, adding in this doorway, making the doors a separate model so I can add them on and off. And then here I'm working on a custom fan unit, like Turkin was saying, for this little diesel locomotive that I designed up originally for the 30 Days of Design Challenge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little bit of metal mesh screen in the front here. So you guys can obviously see the fan, and then I might even design up a fake engine front that goes in there. So we'll see. Yeah, if I had that though, then I'd get to hear, everybody going, "What's that? What's that?" But we'll see. So that is what I'm working on at the moment. I'm kind of just, for lack of a better term, futzing around in here. I know, really scientific terminology here, but the main point is I'm pretty much just goofing around in Fusion at the moment because I was feeling a little bit restless and decided, you know what, if anybody else is kind of restless tonight, why don't we all learn something about 3D design and the process? So that's what's going on. So we're gonna circular pattern that guy because I'm lazy. Axis. Let's see, I'm on the red axis. Not okay. Don't be lazy. Just draw the rectangles. I'll join it. Join that. And then we've got pretty much the faux motor cooling assembly done as far as I'm concerned. Thanks, Matthew. Yeah, it is a cool project. The locomotive itself, let me call it up here. Non-fusion, lock up on you. Thank you. If you look back in my 30 days of design, I forget which day it was I designed this locomotive, but it's actually been printed by me on my Pia Poly Moai, just the basic body. And I'm working on it in my off time. It's somewhat of an off-camera project at the moment. I'm definitely printing the detail parts for it, though, when I get more resin in. But at the moment, this is kind of just like an off-camera project. I might offer this as a item somebody can purchase in the future, but we'll see about that. Pretty much, it's a narrow gauge locomotive. It's a 1/48 scale narrow gauge locomotive that runs on, which is O scale, which runs on N scale tracks. So it simulates about an 18 to 20 inch narrow gauge, which was usually used in mining operations and things like that. So eventually, when I get around to rebuilding my layout module, one of these locomotives will probably be pulling rail cars on it. So I figured, you know what? Why not, make some detail parts for everything? Hey, what's up, Rover? Glad to see you in here. It's always nice when I do a random stream like this to have a bunch of people pop in on chat. It's like, oh, cool. Hey, I got you do it. So for anybody who's just popping in, just doing some design work on model train stuff, I thought I'd bring you guys along for fun. I'm not checking the chat super often. I try and check it every like 2 to 5 minutes though. So if I don't get back to you right away, don't panic. Don't panic. I didn't forget. I'm just, you know, a little bit slow sometimes. All right, TK, have a good night. It was awesome having you jump on, dude, and keep on designing awesome Daniel Noray drink holder things for Jimmy to and gargoyles and stuff to feed his obsession. So Matthew is asking, what's my background? How do I know so much about trains? My background is when I was a lot younger, probably when I was about, when I was just a kid, I was big into model trains, like really big into it, like practically obsessed with it. I didn't like trucks. I didn't like cars. I wasn't that kind of kid. So model trains were like my thing. And I was in it for a while, had a train layout, and then just kind of got out of it for a while. Got kind of frustrating because I felt like it couldn't be as creative as I wanted. Then a whole bunch of years went by. And then I got back into the hobby because I discovered what's called ON30, which is 1/48 scale trains running on HO track. Well, my train layout that I used to have was HO, which is 1/87th scale. And then I decided, you know what, it's a larger train that runs on smaller tracks, so it looks cool. I get the large size of stuff, but I could run much tighter turns, cram a lot more into a small space. So that's what really got me back into it was ON30. Then I discovered ON18, and I was also starting to get interested in 3D printing as well. So I kind of decided, well, maybe I can combine 3D printing and model trains, and that's pretty much where I'm at now. A couple of years later is, you know, really trying to push 3D printing for model trains, which some people actually get instantly, and some people are kind of like, huh? Oh, that's kind of cool though. So that's pretty much what I know. The narrow gauge modeling that I do though, the club that I belong to, the Yosemite Short Line Railway, it's all freelance. The Yosemite Short Line rail model train layout that I belong to is definitely freelance. It is based off a real railroad that did run in the Yosemite area, but we've definitely dated it ahead and given it our own spin. But that's kind of the beauty of it. If you guys look back in my videos area with like the layout tours, I've got some videos of the layout working on it. It's definitely a layout that's showing its age because it's over, I think, 20 years old, but it's definitely a labor of love. Hey, what's up, Anakin? Glad you could finally make it on one of my live streams. This one's a solo one, but that's pretty much the history of me with model trains. So it's definitely definitely cool though, taking my passion of 3D printing and also machining and combining it with another passion of mine to really create some awesome stuff. So I can't go into too many details yet, but let's just say that in the near future, I'm hoping to do a series of videos where I'm working on assembling a etched nickel silver, which is a brass, which is a copper and nickel alloy locomotive. Whoops. That a friend of mine has been working on and off, and I did some 3D design work for. So keep your guys' eyes out for that. It's probably not going to start working on it for at least a month. I'm still waiting to get instructions from my friend and permission to start filming it and things like that, but it's definitely going to be a heck of a project. So we'll see. But I kind of got the fan unit installed. There's going to be kind of like a mesh grill in front, so that's probably going to work. It's probably just going to be an air-cooled engine, but just because I feel like it, I'm not going to actually design panels that are like see-through, but I'm going to create some access ports here. I'll go 20 thou. New body. Definitely like pushing the limits of what my printer can do. Just to be like, can my printer do this? We'll find out. Yeah, I'll make that 0.5 millimeter. I know it's gonna hate me, but I can always make it work. Oops. 65. There we go. That looks like an access panel to me. Oh, Rover, that is awesome. Your mom was into N-Scale and you did the electrical electronic work. That is cool. Yeah, I love N-Scale because it's really tiny, but the problem with it is it's really tiny. So you got to be definitely more careful that your track work is really good. It's clean, things like that. It can become problematic, but I've seen some incredible N-Scale layouts over at the train shows that we set up at, and they're impressive. The only problem is the trains are so tiny I can't run my camera car on it, which is a bummer, but you know, oh well. Yeah, Matthew, it's really cool when you can combine multiple things that are not only you're passionate about, but things that people are not, when I say the most informed about either, or it's using something in a way that they're not familiar with. It's definitely a good feeling to be like, yeah, you know, I'm showing people that you can use this to do this or this to do this. And it really makes me feel good because there's a lot of people who might not initially think, oh, wow, you could, you know, 3D print train parts, or you could machine this, you could do that. So it's cool to be able to combine all that stuff. And also the advantage of 3D printing stuff, obviously, is the fact that you can do very short run or one-off parts for people that otherwise would never be able to get done. Yeah, Rover, Z-Scale is, to give you guys an idea, Z-Scale is 1/220th the size of the actual model. The trains themselves are shorter than a US dime, I think it is, like the height of it. This stuff is like just almost stupidly tiny. It's almost like you need to pull a magnifying glass out to see it. But the advantage of that is you could definitely fit a long train into a small area. I've seen some just ridiculously long trains at shows, and I'm just like, okay, that's just crazy. So I'm kind of looking at this access panel here and thinking, that looks pretty good, but I want to create some fake louvers on it. Let me shut that down. So let me kind of like fake air opening sort of deal. Yeah, I'll keep it 20 thou from the edges. Like 40 thou. And while I'm at it from Smart, I'll create a reference line. So when I go to pattern it, I'll know. And then I'm going to round this edge. Oops. There. There. I'll create a rectangular pattern. That we'll do spacing of 0.08. That looks pretty good. Okay, I guess I can only do 7, but I'll cheat it. This is where things get really scientific, guys, when I'm sitting here like, well, what is it? Okay, that's probably good enough. Showing off how hacky I am in Fusion sometimes, and it's just like, oh, it's just a visual part. Doesn't really matter what the dimensions are. So, yeah. Got a little too overzealous there with my clicking. So, I'll do that. Boom, de-boom, 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 de-boom. There we go. So if you really, 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 really want to get, hi, what are you? If you really want to get crazy here, which heck, why not? It's a live stream. Let's go a little bit crazy here with the model. What I'm actually going to do is I am going to draw on the back of this. I'm going to take and see if I can. No, I can't. Okay. I'm going to try and do is actually pull. Let me just offset the original model. Easier. The distance between them was like 0.825. Yeah, good enough. Stop the sketch. Then we'll actually turn that body off. Turn extrude on. Select these guys. Up. 1,000s. Whoops. It was supposed to be a cut, actually. Then we can turn this off again. Definitely the hack way of doing this, so I don't exactly recommend doing it this way, but you'll see what I'm attempting to do here in a minute. All this craziness will make more sense. Here, we'll do it on the front one so you can see. You guys are probably yelling at me in chat, no, don't do it like that. Yeah, in short, my internet at home is really bad. So I'm sorry, guys, if things are a little bit laggy at times. I'm trying not to jump around Fusion too fast, but sometimes my internet really slows to a crawl. So not much I can do. I wish I could get faster internet, but the reality is I can't afford it. And at this point, it's also just not worth it to me. So that's that. Sorry, guys. Now we're going to reach the height of ridiculousness here by cutting into there. And hey, look, it's a see-through air vent. And then we'll just put fill it on there as well. So I probably, should I? I am just full of great ideas tonight. I'm thinking that let me see if I can actually get Fusion to pattern those faces that I cut out and see if it'll do it to the other ones. I don't think it's worth the effort for something you can't really see on this model, but the main point was I was just trying to show you guys that you could, if you really wanted to, for a larger scale train, cut things through, but it's not worth it. So I can just get rid of that on the back. Not needed. That was just more of a, I'm klutzing around because I'm tired and think it's a great idea to do things like that. I really was not going to keep that in there. It would have made absolutely no visual difference on the model. So you guys were wondering. I can't figure out what the heck that thing is. Oh, I see. There's an accidental spare block. Okay. You weren't needed, so bye-bye. So now what we can do is we can take and mirror that, and we can put the body back on. And then what you can do is take those two, and in reality, these would either be printed separate, or if somebody requested, they could be printed directly on the model. Let's try going 085, 0825. There you go. So these could either be printed directly on the model. Personally, I prefer sometimes to print them off the model. And we'll see. But the main point is just showing you guys how I create detail stuff. So if you ever want to try. So Rover's saying it's all in the detail. Dude, totally. My attitude is I'd much rather sit here and design up a whole bunch of detail parts that might not get used for this particular locomotive, but a little bit like the items that I did in the last episode of Pimp My Train. Really, those items don't have to be used on the locomotive that they were shown on. They could be used on anything. And I've actually thought about, just for the heck of it, taking those weights that I designed up and actually putting them on the back of this locomotive just because it would look cool. I mean, let's face it, that's kind of the beauty of designing stuff. The toolbox that I designed probably would be used on something else, as this one, when I printed it, I actually made it with the little toolbox up there. Probably put a few little hand tools in there and stuff. And the other thing that I haven't done for this is I have not designed up a functional light yet. I want to put a light on the front and the back. I'm still figuring out. I'd probably just make the light mount somewhere like right there. I've got, or probably haven't shipped yet because of Chinese New Year, but I ordered up some ridiculously tiny white LEDs so I can make up some small headlights for this, and then I can actually have functioning headlights, because the power unit that runs this is not very big, and there's a ton of room inside for a decoder that takes the signals from the rails and runs this. So I was thinking, well, if there's room for a decoder inside, then I might as well run lighting, just because if you ever turn the lights out on the layout, it looks cool. That's kind of what I'm thinking I might do in the future. Now, one other thing that I haven't done, but I might do, is I could always turn this into a plantation style locomotive that would be used on like a banana farm or something like that. Which, yeah, I did. But if I wanted to do that, the beauty is you go select the tangent plane here. Actually, I like doing tangent planes tonight, Fusion. There we go. So the cool thing is, if I wanted to make it a more of a plantation style locomotive, I could. 50x50? That's awesome. I thought I snapped it on the inside. Not 50. That wasn't the right snap. That's probably it. There we go. But one thing I have thought about doing is actually down, do the same here. Oh, that's 40. Let me see something here. Oh, so 40 is accurate. It's just where I was measuring from. Okie dokie. My bad. here. And I'll probably need to actually brace that area up. I'll just leave that there. And then that is how far over? 20 thou. Okay. Yeah, I'll just build an brace there. And you guys are probably sitting there like, wait, what is Calvin doing now? Okay, 3D Medic Vince, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. It's always cool. No, I'm not building a square ring light. That would be cool though. Actually, what I'm building, and I'll explain it more in a second. Sorry if I kind of just was like, oh, I got an idea. And then I go crazy in Fusion and you guys are stuck sitting there like, Calvin lost his mind again? Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm designing up a little roof area. My guys don't want to get skin cancer. They're at least that smart. So just around. Just round these edges off. Then that becomes bracing for, I'm not gonna draw the holes in because that's a bit ridiculous, but yeah, we'll do that. So then what we can do is we can draw this guy in. Get rid of that because we don't need it. We can go there. One there. There we go. There we go. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw in an arc. Again, definitely doing things in the most inefficient way possible. But, oh well. So be it. I promise my design skills are a little bit better than this. This was definitely a last second idea. Like, oh, let me just design this in here. And then I totally forgot how to do it the right way, but whatever. So the way it would work is just draw a mid-plane here. And then let's make that a tangent to that guy. Perfect. Sorry for all you on chat. I'll jump in there in a second. I'm just kind of in details mode. Probably have a slight case of OCD and I just don't realize it. Oops. I'm technically that drawn on the wrong plane. Perfect. It moved it without issue. That, that. I think because nobody likes sharp edges, because, you know, You might hurt yourself. Symmetric, full length. Wait, I'll do that. Your body, done. Let me see what you guys are saying. Don't abandon you. Oh, okay, nobody said anything. Never mind. So let me just measure the linear distance between this guy and that guy. No, I want like the true distance fusion, not the hypothetical distances. There we go. 655. So I'll turn that guy on. Put an offset plane there. So then what I can do is I can just actually, you know what? I'll do the simpler route. I'll just copy this guy over 655. 0.655, enter, perfect. Turn that off because we don't need it. Combine this guy, those guys. Then all we have to do turn on our old sketches here. That guy on. That guy on. Go to the front view. Yeah, we'll go up to there. Select those guys. Turn off the main body because they'll get in the way. Two objects into there. Cut up. And boom. And then while I'm at it, just so it makes sense for you guys, in real life, I would not print this tiny of a post. I would just use a piece of brass wire because it would be just a bad idea. But just give me a second here. Pretty much what that becomes is a little cabin, which I probably drew it a little bit high, but who's counting? Okay, that's combined. The future things that I might do on other streams, if you guys want to watch, is the lights, which are kind of a case of waiting on an item that hasn't shown up yet. So we'll see. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It actually went longer than I thought it did. I'm going to stick around and turn off screen share in a second here. And you guys see me if you want. If anybody has any just general questions or things like that, definitely feel free to fire away. If you guys are wondering, this is what the passenger car looked like. The top didn't print because I ran out of filament, even though I did a swap at the last minute because my spool ran out. But you guys can kind of see what it looked like before it was hollow and the doors were stuck on there. And then this is the same rail car with the wood texture added. This one was done on my Moai. This one was done on my Ultimaker. So what I need to do is probably make a sheet brass roof or cardstock for this. Still need to make up the underframe, which I might actually machine out of sheet brass, like some 1/8" sheet brass, just because I want that mass underneath the train so that way it stays stuck to the tracks and doesn't want to go flying off. So we'll see about that. But I'm going to stick around here for a minute or two if any of you guys want to ask any questions. If not, I'll probably end the stream by about 9:42 or whatever. So thank you again to everybody who popped in for this. I don't know if I'm going to be doing these as like a scheduled thing, like and on Wednesday nights, I'm doing design work. I really don't think it's going to be like that. It's probably going to be something like, hey guys, you want to watch? I'm doing some design work. So, if you guys aren't subscribed, feel free to drop subscribe in there. You don't have to though, or just follow my Twitter and you might be able to see when I'm popping on. But these are kind of like things that I actually tend to do to unwind a little bit. So some days it's kind of like, yeah, let's go design something. And some days I'm like, I don't want to design anything. So that's that. Thank you again to everybody who popped in. I know this was last minute, so I appreciate it. And I will see you guys here. Oh, gee, you guys can actually see me again on Tuesday night over on Jimmy Shaw's Tidbits channel over at 10:30. We're going to be talking about stuff. Wednesday night, I got another video coming out, and Saturday morning, got another one coming out. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Later.